and gentlemen. We're here this morning in honor of Hajia Fatima Edu's invitation to launch FilmoRealty and a program called Total Property Management. We begin the program by calling on Mrs. Alera Otobo, Director of Participant Properties, and also Executive Director for Vic Lawrence Associates, a HR consulting company, a close friend of Fatima Edu, to give us a welcome address. Mrs. Otobo, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All protocol observed. This is going to be a short welcome address because it's an honor and a privilege to be standing before all of you and to welcome you to this very special and what I call a unique event. Yesterday I teased Fatima that I was going to call it a monumental event, and she said, "Don't you dare, I've done it now." It is honestly unique for several reasons. One, because of the person who created the reason why we are here, and that is Participant Properties, giving birth to a new entity called FilmoRealty. It all started in 1994, approximately 10, 11 years ago. And most of you who are here know what Fatima has achieved in those years. I call her a woman of substance who has done a great deal. And I know many of you are here to honor her. Those of you are here as parents. My parents are her parents, and they're here. As friends, sister, brother, mentor, colleague, clients, you're all welcome. The three things that stand out in my mind concerning this day, and the three things are vision, foresight, and passion. These are the three things I see this morning. It's vision that gets you to your destination. And Fatima started, like I said, 10, 11 years ago. And the fact that she has achieved so much shows that she's a woman of vision. It's foresight that brings the breakthrough. I know Fatima is going to acknowledge somebody who has helped her incredibly to have that breakthrough in the name of Aliko Dangote. But it was also foresight that made that partnership successful. So we welcome you, sir. And the third thing, passion. When Fatima tells her story, the first thing that strikes you is the passion that comes through. She's somebody who is driven and determined to succeed, and it's passion that keeps you motivated even through the difficult times. It's foresight that helps you to see what other people cannot see. And part of the reason why we are here this morning is to begin to see that which Fatima has already seen, and it's going to make, I believe, great significant difference in the marketplace concerning property management. So it's with a great deal of, like I said, honor that I welcome each and every one of you here. I encourage you to sit back, relax, enjoy today. It's a journey that will take you from inception to today, March 31st, 2005. And as you sit back, relax, and enjoy the day, I want to welcome you to what I call a new beginning for many reasons, and a new dawn. So enjoy, and thank you very much for coming, and we welcome you on behalf of Participant Properties. Thank you. I also have the honor, of introducing the keynote speaker for today, the Honorable Minister, no longer Federal Capital Territory Administration, now in the presidency, in the name of Nasir El-Rufai. He graduated with first-class honors, quantity surveying in ABU, After that, he went to do an MBA and he graduated as the best student, also in ABU. He's an alumnus of the Harvard Business School. He's a man who has achieved, who has made significant achievements both in private practice and the public sector. He has been running El Rufai and Partners, a partnership that he founded more than 2 decades ago. And he was, until he was minister, he was also on the board of Participant Properties, which explains not just his presence, but because he's also a childhood friend of Fatima. In 1998, he was invited from the private sector. He was invited to be director of budget in the presidency. Because of his outstanding achievement, Obasanjo, when he came in, made him the Director General of BPE. And that is where most of you know he got his name, Mr. Privatization. Again, after handling that, I believe, in a very successful and impactful way, he was invited to be the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, which recently, in this year, a few months ago, has now been put under the presidency as the Federal Capital Territory Administration. I'm glad to say that I found out the reason why it happened, but I do not think I should say it from this. But I'm so happy I now know why, because it was, I don't know how many of you know, but if you want to know, just see me after this and I'll tell you for a fee. So on behalf of Participant Properties and FilmoRealty, I'd like to invite Nasser El Rufai, a friend of the company and a friend of Fatima, to please come up and give his keynote address. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to dispense with protocol and only recognize my brother, the former governor of Ekiti State, Ni Adebayo, and Mr. Alison Aida, Secretary to the Government and Head of Service, many years ago when we were all small kids. Welcome. Maybe I should recognize Aliko because he's the richest man here. Let me begin with a story before I make my presentation and a few corrections. The corrections have to do with my biography. Alero said I was director in the presidency. I unfortunately never got that honor. I was advisor to the former head of state, Abdusalam Abubakar, for 10 months when he was head of state, and that's how I ended up working for the government, because in the process of handover, we met with President Obasanjo, and for some strange reason, he took an instant liking for me. And that's the beginning. That's one correction. The other correction I will not make public. I think when you see Alero afterwards, maybe. But let me go to the beginning, really, to try to put in context the reason why I'm here. In the course of doing a project for Alpha Merchant Bank. And after we progressed on the project, Jimmy called me aside and said he wanted us to work together on property development. And he had a company called Alpha Properties, which he wanted me to be an investor as well as run. At that time, I was running my private practice, and I was based in Kaduna. And I came to Lagos maybe once a week because I had a branch office in Lagos. Lagos was a city that I never really liked. I still don't like it. Because coming from the village that I was born and grew up with, Lagos is a little bit intimidating and too chaotic for us provincial types. And I just never adjusted to living in Lagos. So I come in for a week, visit my office, do my business, and get out as quickly as I can. So I said to Jimmy, well, I would be happy to do this, but you know I can't live in Lagos. He said, well, you don't have to live in Lagos. You can run the company from Kaduna, but you need a very strong general manager who can run things on a day-to-day basis. But for some strange reason, again, just like Obasanjo, Jimmy felt that we must do something together. So I started looking for someone who would be a very strong general manager, and that's how I found Fatima. She was working for Cosmopolitan Bank Shares, I remember, at that time, Cosmocorp. And I persuaded her to leave her job to come and work as general manager of Alpha Properties. She did. I think 3 or 4 years after, you all know what happened to Alpha Merchant Bank. So we had to wind up Alpha Properties because many people thought Alpha Properties was owned by Alpha Merchant Bank, but the only thing it had in common was a few shareholders. So we had to wind it up. So all of a sudden, Fatima, that I brought out from a nice job, was unemployed. And I then said to her, there is a need for you to start another company providing the same services. This time it should be your company. And I'll do whatever I can to assist you set it up, because I take responsibility for getting you out of where you were to bring you into a company that had to be wound up in 3 or 4 years. And she agreed. That's how Participant Properties came into being. I'm telling you this so that you know all the reasons and the linkages. And Fatima said I had to be a shareholder in Participant Properties. So we agreed that we'd own it 50-50. After some time, she came and persuaded me that I should give up my shares and assign all of them to my wife, who is also an architect and an old friend of hers. So the two women managed to conspire to age me and Yomi Edu out and take over the company. With the benefit of hindsight, as usual, the women are right. It was a good thing they aged me out. It was a good thing they aged Yomi out as well. So they owned the company, and that's how it has been until recently, when my wife said she could no longer continue because she is engaged in all kinds of duties as wife of the Minister of FCT and does not really have time for the company. This is part of the reason why I'm here. The other reasons, of course, are that Fatima and I go back nearly 30 years. We've known each other right from our school days. And her very troublesome junior sister, Mariam, was my classmate, and actually nearly got me expelled from university because Mariam has the capacity to walk up anyone. And when we were in school, she got me to a point that I had no choice but to decide to give her a thorough beating. And had I succeeded, I would have been dismissed from Ahmadu Bello University. Fortunately, I couldn't succeed because she had about 3 or 4 family members, including a hefty man called Ahmed Dasuki, who is a very close friend now, but in those days he was not so close. And they prevented me from giving the future wife of the Chief Justice of Nigeria a thorough beating. So you can imagine. I'm telling you this so that you understand many things, not only about my relationship with Fatima and her family, but also a lot about me. I've been a troublemaker all my life. Though Mariam makes much more trouble. Luckily for Nigeria, she married the Chief Justice, so she has to behave herself. If she had not, I can assure you she would have been summoned to all kinds of places that I've been summoned to much more frequently than I've been. So I would like to join Alero in welcoming you all and thanking you for taking your precious time to be here. I am really very glad to be here. I want to use the opportunity of introducing this company to talk a little bit about Nigeria. I love talking about Nigeria, about why some countries have succeeded while we have not, because I think most Nigerians agree that this country has not been a successful story.